At this moment, the world has entered the Ice Age. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 651. This is Air Force One, and the flight power is far from enough. Please return immediately. This is Fengsu number 2. The fuel surplus has reached the warning line. Request to return. This is the air support team. The power consumption is close to the safety level. Request to return. At this time, most of the flying units have consumed most of their power to prevent the advancement of the iceberg continent. Now they are not allowed to return home on August 2-3. The speed of the iceberg continent at this time has been reduced to 100 km per hour, but this speed is still within a dangerous range point. If all the flying units are refueling, the time spent is too late for the second round of deceleration point. Thinking of this, the Xihai City Disaster Relief Center fell into silent point at this moment. The research and development base of the flying unit of Xihai City applied for connection point. Commander Ying Ziyue opened the video call and saw Liu Song, a researcher from the R&D unit, looking at him with a smile on his face. Liu, it seems that you are having some trouble here. We sent all the flying units to slow down the iceberg continent, but the current speed of the iceberg continent is still within the danger warning. Next we are going to use missiles to bombard it to slow down. Liu Song smiled upon hearing this and said, if there is a large enough flying unit to slow the iceberg continent to a safe speed, do you believe it? Don't be kidding. This condition can only be accomplished by an airborne unit with a huge body like a deep sea ship. In the Yellow Sea, building a deep sea ship is hard enough. Suddenly, Ying Ziyue seemed to be aware of it. What's wrong, Liu Song? You have been mysterious from the beginning. Have you already thought of a solution? Hurry up and say it. Don't make everyone wait in a hurry. Liu Song smiled slightly, and then the picture turned. Everyone was shocked by the scenery in front of them. I saw a behemoth that was no less inferior to a deep sea ship appeared in their field of vision. This will be our first aircraft carrier in the east that can fly into the sky. It's named Soaring 1. Ying Ziyue took a breath. Although he knew that the Air Unit R&D Center had been developing a mysterious project, he was obsessed with disaster relief and had not been overly pursued for this mysterious project. Never thought that their target was an aircraft carrier. Ying Ziyue suddenly thought of something and quickly said, then this aircraft carrier can take off right now. I expected your words a long time ago. This aircraft carrier is completely ready and ready to be put into use. Very well. No matter what method is used, the iceberg continent must be stopped, and at the worst, it must be kept within and do. Received. Soaring 1 is ready to take off. In the live broadcast room at this time, the audience could not help but ask questions after seeing all the air units in the Yellow Sea City return home. 5.5 All the air units in the Yellow Sea have already returned home. Who else can stop this iceberg from moving forward? At this moment, the picture turned, and something that stunned everyone had happened. A huge body rose into the air, setting off a huge wave, impacting the entire Yellow Sea City. My god, what the hell is this? This is an aircraft carrier. Chapter 652. This is the Xihai City Air Force System. The aircraft carrier Soaring 1 is taking off. Please evacuate the surrounding people quickly. This is the Soaring 1 command center. Soaring 1 is ready to take off. I saw the huge aircraft carrier hanging like a dark cloud over the Yellow Sea, and everyone was shocked. Xihai City actually built such a huge aircraft carrier without making a sound. But everyone remembered that Xihai City once built the deep sea ship Giant, and then 02 was relieved. Yellow Sea City is really amazing. After the creation of the deep sea ship Giant, it actually made such a huge aircraft carrier Soaring 1. Perhaps Xihai City is born to be an excellent city for manufacturing these behemoths. With this aircraft carrier launching, wouldn't the iceberg continent be able to slow down immediately? Although the iceberg continent is huge, it is nothing more than rootless duckweed. With a little external force, it can be stopped. That is, when the iceberg continent stops, isn't it at our mercy? By then, direct missile bombing can't blow it into pieces. I saw the huge aircraft carrier slowly leave the sky above the Yellow Sea City, carrying the hope of all citizens, heading to the region where the iceberg continent is located. With the departure of the aircraft carrier, the live broadcast was gradually projected over the iceberg continent. Before long, the figure of the aircraft carrier appeared on the horizon, and finally the figure of the aircraft carrier was consistent with that of the iceberg continent. Subsequently, a large number of iron lock claws fell from the aircraft carrier onto the iceberg continent. The iron locks were gradually tightened, and the body of the entire aircraft carrier was slightly shaken, and then a large amount of tail flames spewed out from the back of the aircraft carrier. Everyone's hearts were attracted by the aircraft carrier, and the aircraft carrier made a series of roars. The power furnace of the soaring number 1 aircraft carrier is a superpower furnace that incorporates 100 geothermal engines. Then something shocking happened, and the figure of the iceberg continent dropped rapidly at a speed visible to the naked eye. At this moment, accompanied by a burst of crackling sounds, I saw that the iron cable connecting the aircraft carrier and the iceberg continent could no longer withstand the frenzied pull of the two, and they broke apart one after another. Okay, now the speed of the iceberg continent has dropped to a safe range, and the aircraft carrier Soaring 1 can return to Yellow Sea. Received on Soaring 1, now return to Xihai City immediately. Without these chains, the aircraft carrier would not be able to take the next action on the iceberg road. After all, the aircraft carrier was hurriedly completed. In addition to the power system, the weapon system has not been further installed. On the other side, Jingishi looked at the speed of the iceberg continent displayed on the screen, and then asked the official giant soldier, "Where is it now?" It is reported that the second generation Titan soldier Yin has now reached the Yellow Sea City, and the glacier soldiers sent from Antarctica are still on the way. It is estimated that they will arrive in Yellow Sea City in an hour. Yes, whether we can survive this disaster or not depends on these two giant soldiers. The second generation of giant soldiers is based on the transformation of the first generation of giant soldiers. They have stronger performance, lower requirements for the driver, and greatly surpassed the first generation. Chapter 653. Continuing to check the safety of the iceberg continent. After Jingishi issued the order, he couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. If this continues, when two giant soldiers appear at the same time, the iceberg continent in front of them will definitely be resolved. When he was in a relaxed mood, suddenly the staff next to him said, "The report briefly mentions that a huge storm is approaching. It may cause changes in the sea." What? Jingishi almost didn't spit out all the tea he had just drunk. When he thought that he had just relaxed for a while, God arranged for him to do this. Report. The huge waves caused by the storm are advancing the iceberg continent, and the speed of the iceberg continent is now rising due to the influence of the waves. Soaring number 1 aircraft carrier, let it take off again. It's too late. The iceberg continent is already close to the coastline. The giant soldiers must be arranged to stop them as soon as possible. Jingishi cursed secretly and then asked the staff next to him, "Where have the giant soldiers dispatched from the Antarctic passenger terminal have arrived now?" After receiving our news over there, they have already dived at full speed, but it will take 10 minutes to get here. No matter what, let the second generation of giant soldiers set off first. And definitely not let this iceberg continent approach our coastline. Received. The galaxy is starting. When this order was issued, a pure white giant soldier appeared in front of everyone in Xihai City. The second generation Titan soldier Yin. At this moment, he was standing beside Xihai soldier. Compared with Xihai soldier, his size was much smaller. The two giant soldiers got acquainted with each other, and then manipulated the giant soldiers to fist slightly, just like long acquaintances. Afterwards, the transport helicopter descended from the sky and stretched out a large number of steel cables to set up the two giant soldiers. Xihai soldiers are supporting the Yellow Sea City. The Yin is heading to Xihai City. At this time, a large number of storms over the Yellow Sea City condensed into black dark clouds, and they were gloomily pressed over the Yellow Sea City. Everyone's hearts couldn't help but tighten. Above the sea, the waves were turbulent, and even the sea water turned black. and a pure white figure appeared in the field of vision in the distance. The iceberg continent had already appeared in the eyes of everyone, and saw a lot of cold air swept all over it, rushing towards the coastline of Xihai City at an unparalleled speed point with a bang. I saw Yin and Xihai soldiers land in the sea at the same time. The landing of the two sets off huge waves, and the iceberg continent is coming fiercely. This is the command center of the giant god soldiers. Please be aware of the Xihai soldiers. This time the iceberg is coming fiercely, and your energy is limited. You must not use the large-scale weapons on your body like the last time Xihai received it. The storm set off turbulent waves, and these waves slapped on the two giant soldiers. The two giant soldiers began to run. The money is good, and flew toward the iceberg continent. Point bang, bang, two muffled sounds. Two giant soldiers slammed against the iceberg continent, using their bodies to resist its invasion. The current iceberg continent is very close to the coastline. If a particle chainsaw is used rashly, it is likely to split the iceberg continent in two, and then quickly crash into the coastline point. If you want to safely solve this iceberg continent, you must push it out of the safe range of the coastline. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 654. The two giant soldiers mobilized all their power and tried their best to resist the invasion of the iceberg continent. I saw their bodies slowly retreating, but the speed became slower and slower until they completely stopped. The iceberg continent also stopped. Everyone in the live broadcast room opened their eyes wide and never expected that two giant soldiers could actually resist an iceberg continent. Next, it was simple. The two giant soldiers who had the upper hand began to push the iceberg continent back. But this is not a simple project. A steady stream of waves hits behind the iceberg continent, giving it a steady stream of power. The two giant soldiers pushed the iceberg continent beyond the coastline with great difficulty, but then a huge wave hit and slapped behind the iceberg continent fiercely, crackling. I saw a series of sparks from the two giant soldiers. The pilot of Xihai checked the specific conditions of the giant soldiers. Not only was the energy consumed rapidly, but the arms of the giant soldiers were also under tremendous pressure, and the loss was very serious. If this continues, they probably won't even have the ability to fight the iceberg continent. In the Yellow Sea Command Center, Jingishi looked at the level of attrition of the giant soldiers in front of him, and couldn't help but frown. Now the attrition level of the two giant soldiers has reached a critical point. If this continues, these two giant soldiers may completely lose their ability to resist disasters. Just as Jingishi was about to give up, a voice came. This is the Antarctic Research Center support team, and the glacier soldiers have arrived at the designated location. With a loud bang, the grey glacier soldiers fell from the sky and immediately joined the confrontation queue of the two giant soldiers. Suddenly, the situation on both sides was reversed in one fell swoop, and the three giant soldiers started their engines, bursting out huge momentum, pushing the iceberg continent gradually away from the safe range of the coastline. Sorry, I'm late, but it's good to be here in time. It's okay, it just happens to be too late for you to come. To seniors, please let go and do it. I will do my best to assist you. Next is the cheering scene. In the live screen, the glacier soldier exudes a lot of cold air. Because of the cold air, the surrounding sea has turned into ice solidification, and the sea turned into evaluation point. With a particle chainsaw in hand, the Xihai soldier slashed open the glacier continent. Afterwards, the Yin radiated a large number of geothermal weapons all over his body and attacked the broken iceberg continent. Amidst the cheers of everyone, the three giant soldiers cooperated with each other to completely shatter the iceberg continent, and this picture was also broadcasted to all parts of the world through the live broadcast room. People all over the world saw this scene and fell into madness. This is the giant soldier of the east. I'll go. This giant soldier is too handsome. Really only measure is a man's romance. If it weren't for the sign in the upper right corner to remind me that this is a live broadcast, I thought I watched a science fiction movie. The east has such a powerful weapon. It must stand on top of the world. The reason why the glacier soldiers can freeze the sea is precisely because the Antarctic research station perfectly use the cold wave. The cold wave produced a large amount of liquid nitrogen, which was collected by them and used as the glacier soldier's secret weapon. The glacier is equipped with special antifreeze until it is the most cold resistant giant soldier among all giant soldiers. Chapter 655. The wrath of nature is not only shown on the sea. Time has returned to 10 hours ago. Point at that time, that tsunami had not reached Xihai City, and Mengshan City was the first to be attacked by nature. In the Mengshan City Geological Inspection Center, inspectors discovered that a violent seismic source was found near Mengshan City. For a time, the entire Mengshan City fell into an emergency disaster relief mode, and the Disaster Relief Center immediately began to issue an early warning for the city. People in Mengshan City, please pay attention. According to the prediction of the Geological Inspection Center, there will be an earthquake sweeping the entire Mengshan City in the future. Please prepare for disasters. The entire Mengshan City issued a disaster warning. When the people of Mengshan City heard the warning, they immediately began to evacuate in an orderly manner. How long shall we go to the shelter? It should be out soon. It's just an earthquake after all. Yes, I hope it won't delay going to work tomorrow. These citizens have no fear at all. They look like they are going on vacation. Point after all, of all the earthquakes that have occurred so far, these earthquakes have done nothing to the nearby cities at all. Point. Even if a magnitude 5 earthquake occurred, they only felt a slight tremor. The current city walls are very strong and can withstand a magnitude 6 earthquake. At the Geological Inspection Center at this time, the inspectors looked at the screen in front of them, and the source of the earthquake was less than 1 kilometer in Mengshan City. Suddenly, the alarm went viral, and the inspectors looked at the screen in front of them, and the intensity of the seismic source was rising rapidly. Point level 3, level 4, level 5 until level 8. The face of the inspectors changed drastically, and the magnitude 8 earthquake was still so close to Mengshan City. Report. A magnitude 8 earthquake is about to occur near Mengshan City. The magnitude 8 earthquake is less than 1 kilometer away from Mengshan City. Such a strong earthquake is enough to cause huge damage to Mengshan City. Request support. This is the Mengshan City Disaster Relief Center. An 8 magnitude earthquake is coming soon, so please ask for outside support. Ying Ziyue on the other side received the rescue information from Mengshan City. After thinking about it, Ying Ziyue issued a series of orders. It's time to send a large number of resource transport vehicles to support Mengshan City, as well as the disaster-resistant armored forces recently developed by Yanjing. However, this earthquake is different from the past. In the Geological Inspection Center of Mengshan City, the faces of inspectors changed greatly, because the inspection system in front of them showed 0 fine flowers. The earthquake data this time has far surpassed that of magnitude 8 earthquake and a magnitude 9 earthquake. This is an unprecedented major earthquake in the history of human civilization. The inspectors leave and report upward. Report. The source data has risen. This earthquake is not only an 8th magnitude earthquake, but an unprecedented 9th magnitude earthquake. Everyone was shocked, and at this moment, the ground began to shake slightly. Point. The personnel of the headquarters command center immediately shouted with a close roaring voice. Immediately, pass this news out. As soon as the voice fell, it crackled, and with a series of sparks flashing, the entire command center fell silent. Point. Click. A huge crack appeared on the wall, and the commander shouted, evacuate in an orderly manner. Rumbled. The earth was shaking, and the citizens of Mengshan City waited calmly in the refuge. Point. The earth began to shake, and the people who had taken refuge felt the earth's shaking. This earthquake is quite serious. Can we all feel the tremor in the shelter? Such a severe earthquake, I guess I won't have to go to work tomorrow. Died. Chapter 656. This massive earthquake was unprecedented in history. In an instant, all the power systems around Mengshan City were destroyed. Point. For the first time, everyone in the Geological Inspection Bureau ran out of the house to take refuge. But when they ran out of the house, what was greeted by a doomsday scene? The road that originally extended in all directions is now falling apart, and the once prosperous high-rise buildings are now crumbling and dilapidated. If it weren't for his August 27th, who were in Mengshan City, it would be hard to imagine that this ruin was once a bustling city. A magnitude 9 earthquake is absolutely unprecedented in human history. Every city after the Ice Age has been carefully planned to withstand the invasion of many disasters, but at this time it seems to be shaky in the face of a 9 magnitude earthquake. How is it? Can I still receive the signal? Not at all. The big earthquake destroyed almost all the signal receivers around us. Moreover, our power system is completely paralyzed, and the emergency power generation system can only be used in underground shelters. In other words, the current Mengshan City is completely turned into an island, unable to get in touch with the outside world, and the outside world does not know their current situation. At this moment, the earth began to shake again, and there were huge cracks in the ground outside Mengshan City. These cracks slammed into the city wall like lightning. The city wall trembled slightly. The original indestructible city wall was also defeated in the face of a huge earthquake. Dense cracks spread all over the city wall. It is estimated that this city wall will not be able to withstand the next earthquake. At this time, the high-rise buildings in Mengshan City are falling apart, relying on the steel bar in the middle to support it. At this moment, the people who came to take refuge in the underground refuge also felt something was wrong at this moment. If you evacuate according to the earthquakes of the past, it should not be long before a staff member will come to inform them. But now it has passed, and there is still no staff coming to tell them when they can go out for 5 or 6 hours. What's the matter? What about the staff? Isn't there usually someone telling us when we can go out? Why is no one coming at this time? Wait a little longer. Maybe this earthquake is more serious. Let's wait a little longer. Another 5 or 6 hours passed. At this time, some of the refugees began to appear impatient. It's been almost 12 hours. Is it dead or alive? What a squeak. No, I can't wait anymore. Let's go over and see if the staff are there. When the colloid people came to the door of the refuge, the staff looked panicked. People, please don't worry. This earthquake may be serious. The communication equipment between us and the ground has been cut off. I believe it will be repaired soon. Don't be nervous. Saying this, even the staff have no idea. After the 4 earthquakes, they completely lost contact with the ground units. What is it like now? They don't know either. The most important thing is that the door of the refuge is held down by something, and it cannot be opened up to now. Fortunately, there are some materials in the underground shelter that can support them for a period of time. But it can only last for a while. If no one comes to rescue by then, they will probably die in this underground refuge. Chapter 657. On the ground of Mengshan City at this time, Myohu of the Disaster Relief Center was wearing a vest, showing a whole body of tendon meat. Although we don't have those advanced electronic equipment now, we still can't take it lightly. All units are in order, searching the surrounding city to see if there are other survivors. If so, please organize rescue immediately. Receive. At this time, in the urban area of Mengshan City, many units such as the Disaster Relief Center and the Geological Survey Center began to search the surrounding urban areas in an orderly manner. See if there are any survivors in the surrounding city who haven't had time to retreat before 02. At this moment, Myohu heard noises coming from the ruins. Is there anyone? Help. This is a Disaster Relief Center. Don't be nervous about this, citizen. I'll come to rescue you right away. Help me. Myohu frowned and raised his hand. As a new human, Myohu was not only stronger than ordinary humans, but also had a strong ability to resist cold. He saw his hands violently, and he actually lifted up a huge cement board that was 1 person tall. After he lifted a few concrete slabs, he finally saw an old man concealed under the ruins. Myohu pulled the old man out. Fortunately, the old man was just a little frightened, and there was nothing else. Boy, what happened in Mengshan City? I have never seen such a huge earthquake. Old man, don't worry. No matter how huge the profits are, our great eastern country will definitely dispatch support quickly. Our support will be here soon. You should go to our temporary relief station and take a rest. It's okay, young man. You tell me the location, and I can go by myself. I believe that our great eastern country will definitely get through this difficult time. At this moment, there was a sound of helicopter propellers in the sky, and a large number of helicopters fell from the sky. This is the Oriental Emergency Rescue Center. After receiving the earthquake assistance request from Mengshan City, we rushed over immediately. Myo, who felt a little relief. He never thought that after they sent out support, the support troops would have arrived in less than 6 hours. I saw a large number of rescuers transported from the plane, a large number of rescue materials, and then built one rescue point after another in the open space. We are the Eastern Emergency Rescue Center, the Air Flight Detachment. After receiving your emergency rescue notification for our family, we rushed over immediately. Follow-up troops will come one after another. Please wait patiently. If you look down from the sky, you will see transport and rescue vehicles coming from all directions to jointly support Mengshan City. At this moment, the earth began to shake violently, and a large number of houses in the surrounding area began to teeter immediately. Rescue engineers immediately took out a black shield from the trunk point. I saw this black shield rescue engineer placed on the ground. And with a click, the black shield was deeply embedded in the ground, and then unfolded into a solid fortress. Don't worry, everyone. This time the foldable earthquake-resistant tent developed by our rescue engineering R&D department. Even if the buildings next to it smashed on us, this earthquake-resistant tent will shelter us. At this moment, the rescue engineers suddenly ran out. Just when everyone was puzzled, they saw a white spare in the hands of these rescue engineers. Chapter 658. Hello, everyone, my friends. I'm Xihai. I'm in the sky above Mengshan City. You can see that Mengshan City, which eats raw food, has turned into a ruin. Turning to the camera, overlooking the entire Mengshan City from the sky, I saw that within 100 miles around Mengshan City, the earth was torn apart, as if it had been overturned by something, and there are few intact buildings in Mengshan City. At this time, rescue trucks rushed to Mengshan City from all directions in the entire inland area. Earthquakes occurred not only in Mengshan City, but also in many cities, but Mengshan City was the only city where a magnitude 9 earthquake occurred. This 9th magnitude earthquake is definitely a powerful earthquake that has been included in the annals of history. First of all, so far, there have been no casualties in Mengshan City. At this moment, the ground began to tremble, and the audience in the live room saw the live broadcast and began to shake. At first they thought it was because the camera was unstable. Then, when the emperor began to collapse and huge cracks appeared on the loess, they realized that aftershocks in Mengshan City began again. The earth shook, and cracks appeared endlessly, but at this time, there were a group of retrograde people in Mengshan, that is, rescue engineers. They are holding milky white spears, facing the violent shock. They are not shy in the slightest. At this moment, a building next to it could no longer be supported, and a huge floor fell from the sky, slamming directly on the rescue engineers. Faced with such an emergency situation, the rescue engineers were not nervous and calmly pointed the milky white spear in their hands at the huge floor where the sky was about to fall. Everyone squinted their eyes involuntarily, but when they opened their eyes, they saw another magical scene. I saw a strip of milky white unidentified solids, like stone pillars, standing on the open ground, blocking the fall of the huge floor in the rescue center. Other rescuers explained. This is a frozen building material gun developed by the Rescue Engineering Center. This frozen building material gun is connected to the storage tank behind the building material engineer. The white object was developed by the Engineering Rescue Center. Quick frozen cement, ejected from the gun, from contact to air to solidification. The entire process only takes less than 1 second. These rescue engineers use the quick frozen cement to fix the crumbling high-rise buildings around them in a blink of an eye, so that they would not be affected by aftershocks and easily collapse and lift. After solving the hidden dangers of these high-rise buildings, these rescue engineers began to make emergency repairs on the ground. Ensure that the transport vehicle can flow unimpeded all the way when entering the city. The various black technologies once again shocked all the viewers in the live broadcast room. Eastern black technologies are really emerging in endlessly, and black technologies applied to all aspects have. I thought that the sudden magnitude 9 earthquake made Dongfang, the Mun, is good, helpless. I never imagined that they still have a plan to deal with it. It is so happy to be born in the East. With such a rapid and efficient rescue force, what other disasters can affect them? I saw that a large amount of open space in Mengshan City was cleared out, and then disaster-resistant tents were set up. Just when many netizens thought that the earthquake in Mengshan City was over, Dongfang once again refreshed their understanding. Chapter 659. My god, what is this? The audience in the live room exclaimed, and Xiuoxiu's eyes widened, only to see a few figures in the sky. That's right, just a few silhouettes of people. These people actually fly in the sky without relying on any means of transportation. Sure enough, I knew that Dongfang was conducting a secret human experiment. You see, Superman has already come out. I didn't have a choice before. Now I want to be a Superman. Please the country give me a chance. My god, what black technology is there in the East to show it? I can bear it. And Xiuoxiu, who was on the scene, saw several figures above the sky at this time, and saw his brows frown. The lion stared at those figures. He does not believe that, if human beings do not use any tools, how can they fly freely in the sky? Sure enough, they waited for the figures to get closer, before they could see clearly that the whole body of these figures was made of iron skin. For a while, everyone in the live broadcast room sighed. It turned out that it was not Superman. My Superman dream comes and goes in a hurry. I know how it is possible for the East to create Superman. This is a human experiment that violates human ethics. It seems that the East has developed the latest rescue robot. Look, there is a robot flying over here. It won't be our Xiuoda reporter. He didn't get the shooting permit, so he came here alone. Reporter Xiuo, let's run quickly. If this is really a robot, they will only enforce the law impartially. What if you accidentally shoot you? Xiuoxiu looked at the barrage in the live broadcast room and gave a wry smile. At this time, he couldn't even run, because at this time the so-called robot had already arrived in front of him. Hello, sir. At this time Mengshan City is being hit by a huge earthquake. If you have anything to do, please don't land easily. Thank you for your cooperation. As soon as this remark came out, Xiuoxiu was slightly taken aback, because this voice was not a purely mechanically synthesized sound, but a pure human voice. Just say that the robot in front of you is not a real mecha god, but a human in battle armor. Is this the newly developed armor you are wearing? Yes, this is the latest disaster-resistant rescue armor developed by the Rescue Engineering Research Center. It is mainly used for disaster-resistant missions. I will retreat if I have anything to do. Xiuoxiu's eyes widened. He always thought that the omnipotent armors only exist in sci-fi movies, but he did not expect that today he actually saw this kind of armors. If I heard correctly, this is not a robot, but a rescuer in armor. I'm now convinced by the black technology of the East. I didn't expect that they could even develop exoskeleton armor. My Superman dream is broken, but my Iron Man dream is still there. Please the country give me another chance. At this time, Ying Ziyue was also paying attention to the situation in the live broadcast room. When he saw what the barrage said, he smiled slightly. The research on exoskeleton armor has already been put on the agenda, and the first batch of anti-disaster armors to be unveiled is just the tip of the iceberg in exoskeleton armor research. With exoskeleton armor, these rescuers can lift those heavy mudboards easily. Chapter 660. Bang bang bang. A few muffled noises, only to see the rescuers wearing anti-disaster armor falling from the sky. Under the force of the jet, they landed steadily. We are the disaster relief team arranged by the Yanjing Disaster Relief Center. We are sent to assist you. Is there anything we need? After seeing these battle armors, the relief workers' eyes lit up. Just right. You are here just right. Afterwards, Myohu ran over with a sullen face and said solemnly to the rescuers, I'm Myohu from the Anti-Disaster Center. That's it. Before the earthquake, we moved the people into the underground refuge in time, but now the entrance of the underground refuge is blocked by a moving boulder. With our strength, it is impossible to remove the boulder in a short time. So we need your strength quantity. The rescuers wearing anti-disaster armor smiled slightly, then patted their chests and said, let us wrap this matter. I saw these rescuers wearing anti-disaster armor following Myohu to a ruin point. This so-called boulder is actually a collapsed building, with the upper part of it pressed against the exit of the underground refuge point. If you follow the general process, you need to blast this building, and then remove the rubble from the ruins bit by bit. But this process is extremely time consuming, and now they don't know what the underground shelter is like. If you drag it for a second, the people in the underground refuge may be threatened. Thinking of this, everyone's eyes couldn't help but look at the rescuers in disaster resistant armor. As the saying goes, the greater the ability, the greater the responsibility. Those rescuers fumbled their jaws and finally negotiated a result. That is, at the beginning, the buildings were divided into small pieces with a thermal laser gun, and then the power of these armors was used to move them away. Although this process is no different from the previous process, but with the heat gun and armor, the rescue time can be greatly shortened. In the shelter at this time, the people who had taken refuge finally couldn't stand it anymore and rushed to the staff's posts. What's the matter? Why can't you go out now? That's why I can't go out until now. When can I go out? Give me a letter by then. 0 Fine flowers. Should there be no accidents? Can you contact the people above? At this moment, the staff couldn't help it, and then said, people, please calm down. In fact, we have lost contact with the outside world, but everyone must believe that the country will not give up anyone. 0 As soon as the voice fell, the people of the refuge fell into a dead silence. The staff were beating the drums in their hearts. If these people knew their situation, would it cause riots? If you can't say that, it's over. It seems that the enemy is indeed more serious this time, and we need to redivide the distribution of materials. It's a bit difficult for these materials to survive for a long time, so let's redivide them. These refugees were not angry or angry. On the contrary, they were extremely calm and reasonably began to distribute the supplies to survive the crisis. Since we were born in the East, there are reasons to unconditionally believe in the great powers of the East. We believe that the country will save us. Die. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 661. The earthquake in Mengshan City soon ended. The support engineering troops brought a large number of electronic instruments to detect that the source of the earthquake near Mengshan City was disappearing rapidly. Until the moment when the source of the earthquake completely disappeared, Mengshan City was truly safe. This is the Mengshan City Rescue Center. So far, no earthquake source has been found near Mengshan City. The earthquake has ended. Upon receiving this news, Ying Ziyue let out a sigh of relief, and since then all the disasters have been dealt with. But Ying Ziyue is not unhappy because of this. He only focuses on disasters from above the sea, and ignores those from inland. This led to the occurrence of the Mengshan earthquake. Although Mengshan was under his emergency command, there were no casualties, but what Ying Ziyue pursues is to allow all residents to settle down without fear of any disaster. Thinking of this, Ying Ziyue pinched her eyebrows and thought of a plan in her heart. At this time, Mengshan City began its post-disaster reconstruction work, and a large number of construction machinery were transferred from surrounding cities. Most of the residents of Mengshan City were also randomly placed in other cities for temporary residence. At this moment, Ying Ziyue turned on her mobile phone and established a chat group. If someone could see his current mobile phone, they would find that the lowest position in this chat group was also a long-term position. Mengshan Shi Chang. Well, why am I here? Chief Yanjing. Why did team leader Ryan suddenly pull us into this chat group? Is there something urgent to notify? Disaster Relief Center. You talk first. The situation on our side is a bit complicated. When I'm done, I will look at your chat records. Material Center. When can we replenish our resources again? Our warehouses have been emptied. It looks empty, which is very uncomfortable. Ying Ziyue. This is to bring everyone to this chat group. There is something to discuss, mainly about the disaster relief. Hearing the word anti-disaster, everyone's nerves became tense in an instant. Point at this time, the sky moon phenomenon has passed, and the traces of the moon in the sky are gradually fading. Ying Ziyue, the reason why mentioned city was hit by a huge earthquake this time is also a wake-up call for us. The Earth's environment is gradually deteriorating. Ying Ziyue, the disasters caused by nature are gradually becoming stronger. We can't be in the same city before, so I will propose a smart city construction plan. Ying Ziyue and mentioned city will take this opportunity to be a key observation object and become the first batch of key cities to be transformed into smart cities. When the mayor of mentioned city heard these words, he was ecstatic and pie in the sky. We must know that mentioned city was originally a small and inconspicuous third-tier city. I did not expect that after this major earthquake, it became a key smart city because of a blessing in disguise. The mayor of mentioned city hurriedly said, "Don't worry about winning the 5.5 team leader. I will definitely arrange for the citizens to cooperate with the country's arrangements as much as possible." At this moment, the dean of the Yanjing Scientific Research Base said, "The smart city is a research project. I have indeed heard people mention it before. Is there a city in our country that is researching this project?" Ying Ziyue, yes, Donglin City Research Center. I entrusted this project to them before. Chapter 662. That's right, Ying Ziyue entrusted the smart city plan to the Donglin City Research Base a long time ago. Ying Ziyue takes precautions. Almost every city in the east has research bases in order not to waste these research resources. Ying Ziyue originally designed numerous plans to deal with various situations that have occurred. Since then it was entrusted to research bases in various cities so that it could come in handy one day. After everyone heard Ying Ziyue's explanation, they couldn't help taking a breath. It is not accidental that Ying Ziyue can lead human beings to the natural zero-to disasters time and time again. Every time before the disaster occurred, he had already anticipated how to carry out disaster relief plans and prevent disasters. This is Ying Ziyue, the leader who leads the East to the top of the world. In the chat group, the head of Donglin City, after being silent for a while, also replied, "I have just confirmed that there is indeed a smart city research department in our Dongying City Research Base." At this time, Ying Ziyue's words were finally confirmed. Afterwards, the mayor of Donglin City invited researchers from the research base to come in. Donglin Research Base, Leader Ying, we have set up a smart city research department in accordance with the instructions you gave us before. Now that we have achieved initial results, we can fully support the operational needs of primary smart cities. Ying Ziyue, it is estimated that in an hour, I will arrive at the Donglin City Research Base, and then show me your smart city research results carefully. Donglin Research Base, received. Ying Ziyue, if you don't have any questions, this meeting will end here. After that, I will send a dedicated smart city planning team to mentioned city to guide the smart city construction plan. Mayor of mentioned city, we mentioned city will definitely cooperate with our work. After closing the group chat, Ying Ziyue said to the secretary on the side, "Get ready, we will rush to Donglin City now." The secretary on the side didn't say anything, but just nodded. Then, Ying Ziyue was on the UFO aircraft and started to deal with the follow-up work, including the announcement of the smart city construction plan. Now mentioned city has just experienced a major earthquake, and it needs an encouraging news to make the people feel at ease. After the announcement of the smart city construction plan was published on the official website, people across the country began to excite again. The smart city construction plan specifically refers to the intelligent transformation of cities in various regions. The transformed smart city has the functions of automation, commercialization, and mechanization. It can be said that residents living in smart cities can enjoy various convenient services at home without even going out. Moreover, after transforming into an intelligent city, the maintenance and public security of the city can be carried out by artificial intelligence, which saves a lot of manpower and material resources. After the city becomes intelligent, the productivity will be greatly improved, and the saved manpower and material resources can be reinvested in higher tech research. The East has another big move. I feel that the West is getting better and better now. We in the West are simply a barren land. How can my God allow me to enter the East? My biggest dream now is not to get rich overnight, but to enter the East. Chapter 663. The East has just announced a smart city construction plan, and the West is noisy, and they all want to enter the East. Compared with the development of civilization in the East, in addition to the strong support of the East in agriculture and industry, the West usually relies on its own research to improve the environment. In today's West, it is not the officials whose status is revered, but the peasants and workers. They are exposed to the baptism of the highest technology in the East, carry the pride in the bones of Westerners, and think that they are superior. In fact, it is not that Ying Ziyue does not want to transform the West, because the country's resources are limited, so he can only transform with the East as the center. The whole world is developing with the East as the center. If the West wants to live in smart cities, it is estimated that the second generation of smart cities will have to wait for the East to develop it before they can live in the previous generation of smart cities. At this time, Ying Ziyue came to Xihai City in a UFO aircraft. After getting off the UFO, Ying Ziyue went straight to the Xihai research base. Chenlin, a researcher at the Xihai research base, stood at the gate of the research base long ago and greeted Ying Ziyue enthusiastically. After seeing Ying Ziyue, "Hello, I'm Chenlin, a first-level researcher at Xihai research base. Team leader Ying is not there today. I will show you a tour of our research base, no problem." Upon arriving at the Xihai research base, Ying Ziyue can clearly see that this research base is filled with various automated intelligent machine products. This is also the characteristic of the Xihai research base, that is, intelligent AI and automated mechanical products. It is more appropriate to entrust the intelligent city construction plan to them for research. Afterwards, Ying Ziyue came to one of the research bases and saw that it was testing intelligent AI robots. Ying Ziyue stepped forward, and the intelligent AI robot sensed his presence and turned around automatically to face him. "I know you. You are the famous Ying Ziyue, team leader Ying." Faced with such an intelligent AI robot, Ying Ziyue smiled slightly and stretched out her hand to shake hands with him politely. "Hello, nice to meet you." Subsequently, Ying Ziyue saw the magic of this intelligent AI robot, which can not only handle some basic demand instructions, its calculation speed is much faster than ordinary people. The mathematician needs nearly a day to solve their huge problem, and he can solve it in only an hour. Ying Ziyue can almost foresee that in the future intelligent AI technology will spread to all fields of mankind. With the assistance of robots, their scientific research speed will also be greatly increased. Ying Ziyue expressed his appreciation, but it is a pity that this intelligent AI robot is still in the trial period, and there are still many hidden dangers that have not been resolved. It will take about half a year to solve these hidden dangers. After they solve these hidden dangers, the intelligent AI robot can be put into production and then put into research bases in various places. After leaving the laboratory of smart AI robots, Ying Ziyue came to the Smart City Research Department. In this department, the researchers are all about smart city products. After a long period of continuous research and accumulation, today's Smart City Construction Department is already a large part of the Xihai Research Base. Chapter 664. This is our Smart City Construction Department. Chenlin introduced their Smart City Research Department to Ying Ziyue, which is different from the department he looked at before. For those intelligent AI robot research departments, their laboratories are built indoors to ensure that they are not disturbed by anyone in the process of doing experiments and research. But for the Smart City Research Department, most of their laboratories are built outdoors, which is an open-air plaza. Not only that, there are not many weapons in this open-air square. After repeated confirmations, Ying Ziyue was sure that she did not go to the wrong research base. Chenlin seemed to see the horror in Ying Ziyue's eyes, and then explained, "Because our Smart City Research Department needs to test the endurance of building materials. In order to facilitate the test, we simply called some weapons from the military department for testing." At this moment, Ying Ziyue heard a muffled noise, followed the sound, and was conducting a test on the open air plaza not far away. I saw a concrete wall standing on the square, with several gun barrels protruding around, and then with a few roars, a large number of artillery bombarded the concrete wall point. If we look at the usual situation, under so much firepower, this concrete wall will definitely fall apart. However, after the smoke and dust dissipated, a shocking scene appeared. I saw this concrete wall standing upright in the middle of the square, and these artillery did not even leave a trace of hanging marks on its surface. If this concrete wall can be applied to the city wall of smart city construction, then even if there is another magnitude 9 earthquake in the future, the situation like this will not happen. What's the matter with this concrete wall? Is it a finished product you have recently developed? Can it be put into use on a large scale? Chenlin on the side had expected Ying Ziyue to react like this a long time ago, and answered in an orderly manner. In fact, the magic is not the concrete wall itself, but a layer of electromagnetic shield covering its periphery. This layer of electromagnetic shield can protect the concrete wall itself. Of course, this does not mean that the cement wall itself is very fragile. This cement wall is mixed with some minerals, which can make it stronger than traditional cement. As for whether you can resist a magnitude 9 earthquake, you don't have to worry about it. After the development, we will conduct seismic tests on it. Facts have proved that even the amplitude of magnitude 9 earthquake cannot shake the cement. Half the wall. We named this cement powdered stone powder. Now that these powdered stone powders have been transformed by us, the production cost has been reduced to a minimum, and large-scale production can be carried out at any time. Upon hearing these words, Ying Ziyue nodded slightly. It seems that this time he came to Donglin's Smart City Research Center, and it was indeed a worthwhile trip. The invention of goldstone powder alone can increase the defense level of all cities across the country by 1 level. Chenlin smiled and then said, Leader Ying, it is too early for you to be happy. We are only now starting to look at the first invention, and there will be more smart city research projects in the future. Upon hearing these words, Ying Ziyue smiled slightly. Very well, then I will just wait and see. Of course. Please hear. Chapter 665. Chenlin took Ying Ziyue and walked forward, and came to a research room. Actually, Ying Ziyue saw that this research room was actually researching mobile phones. This makes Ying Ziyue a little strange. This is not the Smart City Research Department. Why is this department researching mobile phones? Does the mobile phone play any role in the construction of smart cities? With such curiosity, Ying Ziyue walked into this laboratory. Coming to this laboratory, Chenlin saw Ying Ziyue's doubts, and then said, Leader Ying, this is our electromagnetic power system research department, which is mainly used to study the transformation between electromagnetic and electric power. Oh. Does the conversion between batteries and electromagnetics all depend on the cell phone in their hands? Hearing this sentence, Chenlin smiled slightly and then said, Leader Ying, you may have misunderstood us. This mobile phone is a derivative of the battery power system. We are using this mobile phone to test the electromagnetic power system. When Chenlin turned on the phone, the battery level of the phone was 80%. Chenlin turned on the charging mode of the phone, and something amazing happened. This phone obviously does not have any charging port, but the upper right corner shows that it is being charged. After a while, its battery level actually started to rise. Ying Ziyue took the phone, and it turned out that the phone was being charged, and it didn't affect the use. You said that this mobile phone is a multiplication product of the electromagnetic power system, so where is your main product? If I'm not mistaken, the reason why this mobile phone can be wirelessly charged is because of the existence of that thing, right? That's right. Team Leader Ying, I saw that the electromagnetic tower in the center of the laboratory is not there. That is the electromagnetic power tower we developed. It can convert electricity into electromagnetism and then spread it to the entire city. And then special devices set up in the smart city can convert these electromagnetism into electricity again for use. In this way, you can save a lot of circuit laying and truly realize a smart city with remote charging and remote control. Ying Ziyue took the wireless phone in his hand. Actually, he had noticed the electromagnetic tower in the center of the laboratory. When he first entered the laboratory, 0 find flowers walking into the electromagnetic tower. The staff on the side reminded, "Leader Ying, try not to get close to the electromagnetic tower within 10 meters. Otherwise the strong electromagnetic generated by the electronics factory may cause some of your electronic equipment to malfunction." After receiving the staff's reminder, Ying Ziyue stood by the electromagnetic tower from a distance to watch. This electromagnetic tower is 2 meters high, and on the top of it is a huge electrostatic ball, surrounded by a circular design. Within these circular arcs flashing large and small point, it is these arcs that support the operation of the electromagnetic tower. Chenlin explained, "This electromagnetic tower is just a sample. The height of the electromagnetic tower that is actually put into use should be more than 100 meters. Ying Ziyue nodded, and Chenlin said, "In the process of building a smart city, we will use these electromagnetic towers to lay the electromagnetic power network in the smart city to ensure that the entire city can be covered by electromagnetic. After the electromagnetic tower of the electromagnetic tower is improved, it will only be installed, absorbed by the equipment of the specific device, and has no impact on the human body or living beings." Death. Chapter 666. Afterwards, Chenlin continued to bring Ying Ziyue to a laboratory. The items studied in this laboratory were few and far between, and Ying Ziyue asked to be manufactured on her own initiative. That is the alloy light rail. This alloy light rail is not an ordinary train track. This light rail is to be installed between buildings. That's right, Ying Ziyue wants to install these alloy light rails between the various buildings, so that they can move freely in 837. This sounds like a crazy plan. But if the light rail is installed between the buildings can move freely like a train point, then it can save a large area. In this global ice age, every inch of land must be reasonably classified to maximize land use point. Even if these buildings can move like a train, wouldn't the entire city save a lot of transportation resources? And it is the company's dream to get up. When I came to this laboratory, I saw that these researchers were testing the alloy light rail point. The content of the test is nothing more than two. One is the load bearing capacity of the light rail, and the second is the stability of the light rail during its operation. In the first test, under the pressure of 10 tons of weight, the alloy light rail did not experience any bending deformation. The second test is to let each inkingi bear a weight of 10 tons, and then start to move. The moving road is very curved, and there are even up and down curved roads, and the results quickly come out. The alloy light rail does not change in speed due to the influence of gravitational acceleration and centrifugal force. Both tests achieved the expected results, which shows that after a series of tests, the light rail can be put into use soon. Ying Ziyue was very satisfied with the results, and then Chenlin took him to see all the research results regarding the research projects of smart cities. Their Danglin Research Institute has conducted in-depth research for nearly 2 years. Among them, there are countless projects that are suitable for building smart cities. Ying Ziyue only selected a few of the more commonly used and stable projects, and the remaining projects need to continue to be observed and tested. Soon, they came to their last project, the final project, that is the AI system for smart cities. The most important thing for a smart city is the smart AI system. The level of smart AI determines the level of the smart city. If everything needs to be operated manually, it is no longer a smart city, and the intelligent AI of mentioned city is the intelligent AI researched by the Danglin Research Institute with a lot of resources. The Great Wise Man, the brain of this intelligent AI, is composed of hundreds of galaxy computers. Its computing speed is enough to beat most of the smart AIs produced by Dongfang so far, and its main function is to control all the daily routines of the smart city. It can even detect where there is damage every day in the smart city, where it needs repairs, and where it needs support. This is the Great Wise Man. Not only that, but the Great Wise Man is also connected to the air satellite system and the air corridor system, which can monitor the surrounding environment in real time and provide real-time disaster warning. Here is the wise man of the intelligent AI system. I'm very happy to serve you. Chapter 667. This smart city construction plan is undoubtedly a challenge for the East. Ying Ziyue has made perfect preparations for this. Therefore, after Ying Ziyue proposed the smart city construction plan, he immediately published the plan on the official website for this step of the plan. That's right, he wants to seek some talents on the official website. Great Eastern countries have never lacked talents. What they lack is just an opportunity to discover. After Ying Ziyue released the smart city construction plan on Guangying, some interested people have noticed this plan one after another. 2 Point the construction of a smart city requires the participation of a large number of technical personnel, such as programmers familiar with intelligent AI systems, engineers with rich construction experience, and even some railway engineers. The construction of a smart city requires all kinds of talents, and these talents may not meet together in their lives, but because the smart city is beyond the ordinary, its design is at the forefront of the world. Ying Ziyue marked down the smart city construction plan and marked what kind of talents they need. After the people of the East discovered that there was a demand for recruitment under the smart construction plan, for a while, the whole world was boiling. Quickly look at the official website of the smart city plan has changed again. If the government wants to start building a smart city, it must require a large number of talents, and it has already begun to recruit. The honor of building the first smart city in human history is very precious, and all kinds of talents will spring up like bamboo shoots after a rain. It's really interesting to build a smart city. I'll go to participate in it. Maybe I can meet the masters of all walks of life. Why my god only recruits talents from the East? We can also pass. Please, let me enter the East, even if I move cement, I'm willing. Come on. Now Mengshan City has become a key construction city. Even the work of moving cement, there is no certain relationship. It may not be able to grab this job. The construction of a smart city is an opportunity for talents from all walks of life to increase their resumes, and it is also an opportunity to prove themselves for a time. The registration offices in major cities were overwhelmed by a large number of people. Even with a very high threshold, there are still a large number of resumes, like snowflakes, coming from all directions. In fact, there is no shortage of talent in the East. Ying Ziyue has prepared 10,000 places, but now the number of applicants has already exceeded 100,000, and this number is still rising. For a while, Ying Ziyue didn't know whether to cry or laugh. Recruitment positions in all aspects have been filled in a blink of an eye. The job fair, which was originally held for a week, is now over in just 3 days. Ying Ziyue arrived all night and assigned these 10,000 talents from various industries to job assignments. Starting tomorrow, Mengshan City will officially start the construction of a smart city. The official website was closed, and everyone at the recruitment portal screamed for a while. Wait a minute, I haven't signed up yet. How come the recruitment portal has been closed? I'm an important national talent. Come on. You can't even pass the introductory test questions, and you still have important talents in the country. Why is my god introductory test so difficult? Almost no one in the West can answer it. The civilization level of the people of the East has far surpassed that of our West. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 668. At this time, Mengshan City is still in the rubble of the earthquake. A large amount of rubble is scattered on the ground. The road is torn apart. The tall buildings are crumbling, and they may collapse at any time. At this moment, there was a loud noise in the center of Mengshan City, and only a scarlet mushroom cloud rose into the sky. Accompanied by this loud noise, there seemed to be a chain reaction around, and there were usually huge noises, one after another. These explosions even triggered the second earthquake in Mengshan City, but this earthquake was artificially caused. In the face of this artificial earthquake, there was no movement in Mengshan City quietly, and there was no trace of people in Mengshan City at this time. The residents here have long been notified by the above and went to other cities for temporary residence. The engineering team also repeatedly confirmed that there was no one else in Mengshan City, so the construction began. This time the engineering team directly used geothermal bombs to bomb Mengshan City in all aspects. Some equipment underground in Mengshan City could not withstand the violent bombardment of geothermal bombs. In a blink of an eye, a large amount of rubble covered all these underground facilities. Not only that, the engineering team carried out a frantic bombing of Mengshan City for nearly a day and night, until the entire Mengshan City was turned into ruins. If someone looks down from the sky now, they can find that the entire Mengshan city, except for the dilapidated city walls, has been turned into rubble. Why should the entire Mengshan city be blasted? Because the engineering team has to build a smart city that is a one-piece city, and the whole city is connected as one point. The underground structure of Mengshan city will only cause huge troubles to the construction of a smart city. Even if the construction is completed, it cannot be integrated into the smart city point. Therefore, the engineering team can only blast the old Mengshan city. At this moment, Suli of the blasting engineering team was standing on top of a ruin, looking around 100 miles in a barren area. It is hard to imagine that a few days ago, this place was still a bustling city point, after being baptized by natural earthquakes and artificial bombing. Apart from the rubble on the ground, it can be seen that it was once a city. Nowhere else can it be seen that the ruins were once a city point. At this moment, a voice came from the walkie-talkie on Suli's chest. Suli, come back after checking the buildings that are not missing. We are going to start blasting the city wall. Receive. Suli looked at the surrounding city walls. Although these city walls were dilapidated, they still stood upright on the edge of the city, guarding the city from the wind and cold. Suli quickly rushed to the bottom of the city wall, then took out the mini geothermal bomb, and began to plant the bomb at the designated location point. When the city wall was built, its safety was considered. If it hadn't been damaged by the earthquake long ago, it would be really difficult to deal with it with these few geothermal bombs. All bombs have been planted in the number 1 city wall area. The number 2 city wall area has all bombs installed. The number 3 also completes the task. After planting all the bombs, everyone retreated hundreds of miles outside the city wall. Attention everyone. In 5 minutes, the bomb will start to detonate. 5 minutes later, with a loud noise, the city wall collapsed, and a violent snowstorm poured into the ruins like a tide. Chapter 669. The city wall of Mengshan City collapsed suddenly. At the moment, when the city wall collapsed, a lot of cold wind and snow poured into the ruins of Mengshan City. In the blink of an eye, the ruins of Mengshan City were covered with a thin layer of frost. The engineering team saw the city wall collapsed and waited a long time before gradually stepping forward. Is there any remaining buildings? No, Mengshan has completely turned into a ruin. When everyone looked at the ruins, they couldn't help but sigh. Originally, this was a bustling city, but now it has become a ruin point. But immediately on top of this ruin, a brand new city will be built. The destruction of Mengshan City is only for better nirvana later. Brothers, get ready to start. Everyone in the engineering team screamed. A large number of engineering vehicles, transport vehicles and forklifts came from all directions and began to clean up the ruins. A large amount of rubble is being transported around the world by trucks. Some people may be wondering how to deal with these rubble. The wall of life, this Wanli city wall that combines biological engineering, can swallow all engineering waste. In this way, it can not only be used to repair the Wanli city wall, but also solve the accumulation of these engineering wastes. On the other side, the official started a live broadcast of the smart city construction process in Mengshan City Point. This is also to appease the emotions of those who are far away in other cities and other people in the East Point. When the official live broadcast was launched, a large number of people swarmed into the live broadcast room. Everyone comes here for only one purpose, and that is to see with their own eyes how the legendary smart city is built. But at the beginning of the live broadcast, what caught their eyes was a ruin. On this ruin, a large number of construction vehicles were transporting the rubble. Isn't it? The project is so large. Just demolish Mengshan City. I live in a city near Mengshan City and saw a large number of explosive mushroom clouds appearing in Mengshan City last night. It's too exaggerated to build a smart city. It's actually necessary to replan the entire city. I'm already looking forward to what Mengshan City will look like after the transformation. I don't know when our city can also turn to the smart city construction plan. In the scene of the live broadcast room, many gravel and rubble were transported away. 3 days later, a huge pothole had appeared on the former site of Mengshan City Point. It's not too late. These engineering teams began to repair this huge pothole. After another 3 days, this huge hole had become a square pit. Subsequently, the removal of the ruins in Mengshan City was officially over. The area of this pothole has reached the size of 5,000 square kilometers. and the depth has reached a depth of 500 meters. This square pit is exactly the foundation excavated to build a smart city in Xihai City. With such a large foundation, what does this smart city look like? I'm already becoming curious. This is the first time I have seen someone dig such a large foundation. The people in Xihai City are too lucky. They don't know what kind of experience it is to live in a smart city. A large number of engineering vehicles came from all directions and transported a huge amount of steel bars. The smart city construction plan of Xihai City ushered in the second step. Chapter 670. A large amount of steel was thrown into the huge square pit in front of him. Under the gaze of everyone in the live broadcast, Danfang showed his amazing actions again, and it only took one day and one night to install all these steel bars. I saw that the originally bare earth pit was now covered by a lot of steel. These workers only spent a day and night to build a steel forest in this earth pit. Everyone in the live room couldn't help exclaiming, "This is the Eastern Speed." Oh my god, I didn't watch the live broadcast all day. What happened? Wasn't it still a dirt pit yesterday? Brother, are you afraid that you don't know what Eastern Speed is? At the beginning, the East built a city in 3 days, but I was online all the way, and I saw what is called true Eastern Speed. After laying the foundation, the engineering team began to build the city wall. Without the protection of the city wall, the wind and snow from outside would continue to blow in. I saw that the engineering team quickly built a steel city wall around the foundation, and then began to build the city wall. All construction teams started construction at the same time, and the city wall was also rising rapidly at a speed visible to the naked eye. But the city wall they built is just the simplest city wall. If the city wall of an intelligent city is a perfect work of art, then their current city wall can only be regarded as a rough embryo. Within a few days, a tall city wall rose from the ground to block the wind and snow outside. Seeing this very rudimentary city wall, some people in the live studio began to shout again, "Isn't it? The city wall of the intelligent city is so broken. It is not as good as a city wall." At this moment, an engineer who participated in the construction of the city wall in the live broadcast room said, "This is just a rough embryo of the city wall, and the wall will be further refined later. If you don't understand, don't talk nonsense here. The construction of the city wall is first of all the framework in front of us, and then, the engineers began to strengthen the city wall. First using graphene to make the city wall skeleton and strengthen it. Then use cold resistant materials to paint the surface of the city wall, and then it is the most critical step. It is also the place where the intelligent city wall is completely different from other city walls. That is the use of golden stone powder. In practice, those construction workers will persist in mixing it with cold resistant materials and then paint the surface of the city wall 0 fine flowers. Later, a surprising thing happened, and the cold resistant materials were automatically attached to the city wall. As if they had life, they repaired some of the defects on the city wall. This is not the most magical place. When the electromagnetic protection tower in the center is built, a thin film automatically rises on the surface of the entire city wall. This layer of film can not only automatically repair the loss on the city wall, but also generate some heat energy to heat the inside of the city wall. Under the operation of the electromagnetic tower, the temperature of the construction site is also rising rapidly, reaching about 20 degrees in a blink of an eye. At this temperature, they no longer need to wear protective clothing. Hey, what kind of black technology is this? What did they add to that material? What the hell is the lightning emitting tower in the middle? Does the film on the city wall have a heating function? Isn't this too black technology? At this moment, the smart city has begun to appear, and its charm has died. Chapter 671. Under the gaze of the people of the whole country, the smart city construction plan of Xihai City is proceeding in an orderly manner. In the live broadcast before, everyone has seen the function and convenience of the intelligent city wall. For a while, they are more interested in the establishment of the entire intelligent city. Even the city walls are so high-end. Where are the other buildings worse? Thinking of this, people all over the country are staring at the live broadcast of August 40 attentively. Every day it is like chasing TV, and serial dramas usually open the live broadcast platform on time. to watch the live broadcast of Intelligent City construction. The construction of smart cities also reflects the strong infrastructure construction speed of the East. In a blink of an eye, the basic framework of smart cities has been established. Ying Ziyue looked at the live broadcast in front of her. The basic framework of a smart city has been initially constructed. This preliminary construction took them a whole month. This is because the planning of smart cities requires strict planning. Taking into account most of the buildings and projects, the construction speed will naturally be much slower, but as the saying goes, everything is difficult at the beginning. After the basic framework of a smart city is built, the next project can only be said to be a blast. In just 3 months, the construction of the intelligent city of Mengshan City was completed, but the city has not been put into use so far, and it must be tested before it can be put into use. Leader Ying, Mengshan City is ready, and now I need you to go there in person. Ying Ziyue is the leader of the East and the proponent of smart cities. He can only be the person who started the era of smart cities. Upon hearing the secretary's words, Ying Ziyue nodded, and then said, "It should not be too late. We will go to Mengshan City now." Riding a UFO, Ying Ziyue came to Mengshan City, the world's first intelligent city. At this time, the surface of the city wall exudes a faint fluorescence, and the electromagnetic protective film is working. Ying Ziyue walked into Mengshan City. At this time, Mengshan City had not formally supplied electricity, and the entire city was still lifeless. The only bright light is the electromagnetic towers scattered around Mengshan City. These electromagnetic fields are shining with wisps of electric arcs. An electromagnetic shield connector is set up on the city wall of Mengshan City, so that there is always an invisible electronic barrier covering the sky above Mengshan City. This electronic barrier can guide the electromagnetic waves generated by the electromagnetic tower, so that these electromagnetics can reach where they should go, and thus convert it into electricity. Ying Ziyue came to the power center. At this time, there were already many people waiting here. It seems that everyone has arrived early. Looking around, all around are the former city leaders of Mengshan City. After all, it is the opening of the world's first smart city. After all, we have to come over and gain insights. Ying Ziyue glanced at them, and then said, "Since everyone has arrived, let's get ready to start." Hearing this sentence, everyone's eyes were on Midnight, the important task of opening a new era of smart cities. This kind of thing is more appropriate to win the team leader. If you can come. Ying Ziyue did not shirk, then I would be more respectful than fate. He pulled down the switch, and all the electromagnetic towers in the city started running at full power. In an instant, the protective shield in the sky showed his figure, and a large amount of electromagnetic waves came from all directions, crisscrossing the sky. Chapter 672. These electromagnets shuttled back and forth over Mengshan City like lightning, and then turned into a flash of light, and sank into the ground. Subsequently, Mengshan City seemed to be infused with life, and the whole city began to become alive. This scene was sent to audiences all over the world through direct broadcast, and the whole world could not help but let out an exclamation after seeing this scene. My God! Is this the legendary intelligent city? My God, when I see this city, I know that those science fiction movies are not fanciful fantasy. My God, this is a new era. 02 is a brand new intelligent era, a new era belonging to the East. As a citizen of Mengshan City, I'm very happy that I was born in such a powerful Eastern country. Guy upstairs, can I go to your house as a guest? It doesn't matter what the smart city is, mainly because I want to make friends with you. The emergence of an intelligent city is undoubtedly a symbol of a cross-age. Ying Ziyue walked out of the power center. He was going to the control center to carefully observe the detailed data of the city. At this moment, the escort on the side said, "Leader Ying, are you going to try the control center?" "Yes, I'm going to the city control center to check the detailed status of this city." After hearing this sentence, the escort smiled slightly. "Actually, you don't have to be so troublesome, Team Leader Ying. All our houses have light rails installed at the bottom of them. The underground city of Mengshan City is dotted with a very complicated light rail transportation network. This is also a major feature of our smart city. I saw that the escort brought Win Midnight to a special room, which was very spacious, and could stand up to a dozen people. The escort came to a wall, and turned on the display screen on that wall. Hello, I'm very happy to serve you. Where do you need to go now? City Control Center. Hello. The location you selected is a first level key area. Please enter your identity information for verification. Check identity information. The verification is successful and the permissions are passed. I wish you a pleasant journey. Please do not damage the room in the center of the journey, otherwise it may cause irreversible consequences. Ying Ziyue's eyes lit up slightly, and then a display above the gate showed that it would take 5 minutes to reach the city control center. 5 minutes later, the door opened again, but this time it was not the power center, but the city control center. Ying Ziyue never expected that this house, which looked like an elevator car, was actually a mobile carriage. We designed in strict accordance with the previous engineering drawings, in order to use the light rail system, to make reasonable use of every inch of land in the smart city. Leader Ying, the light rail you just took, is actually part of the power center. Every room and building in the smart city is not fixed. In order to adjust the operation of other systems, it will often move in position. In other words, residents living in this city can complete a series of operations easily without leaving their homes. For example, if you want to go to a vegetable market, you only need to use the light rail system to make purchases through different places at the same time. Ying Ziyue clicked, and then went to the system center of the city control center, where the core of the system of the Great Wise Man was. Chapter 673. Leader Ying, you can use this machine to have a conversation with the wise man. Ying Ziyue was taken to a huge screen, only to see a large amount of data drawn on that screen, and then transformed into the form of a girl. This girl is the avatar of the Great Wise Man, applying most of the perfect features of human women, and her appearance is definitely at the level of a goddess. Hello, Mr. Ying. I'm an intelligent AI system that specializes in managing the intelligent city system network of Mengshan City. My name is the Great Wise Man. Ying Ziyue nodded, and then said, can you tell me the specifics of this city? Of course, there is no problem. As soon as the voice fell, I saw a ray of light shining on Ying Ziyue's surroundings, forming a 3D city map around him. Let me introduce this city to you. In the center of the city, which is an important area of Mengshan City. If this area does not have the first level permission, the light rail system will not go. Here, there are a large number of core buildings in Mengshan City. Both the city control center and the power center are established in this area, and the buildings in this area cannot be moved using the light rail system, unless there are special circumstances. On the periphery of this central area is the commercial center of Mengshan City and the economic center of Mengshan City. A large number of commercial streets and commercial buildings here form a steel forest. In the business district, there are only things you can't think of, and nothing you can't buy. After becoming the world's first smart city, Mengshan City will surely attract a large amount of capital injection. So when Mengshan City is officially opened, it will definitely become the most sought after place in the world. Of course, the light rail system in this area will not easily move the building. Even if it moves, it can only be a short distance small movement. Farther out is the residential area of Mengshan City. In this area, the light rail system has fully played its role. Residents can go to every corner of Mengshan City through a house of their own without leaving home. Then there is the agricultural area of Mengshan City, where all the experimental greenhouses have become an artificial container, and these artificial containers have an official name, that is, the ecological box, which forms a system of its own, with an independent simulated ecosystem that allows vegetables to thrive in it. These eco boxes accumulate in the outer agricultural area just like containers one by one. In this way, not only can the land consumption be greatly saved, but also, the vegetables can be delivered to all households in the first time using the light rail system. The last area is the industrial area of Mengshan City, which is also the outermost area of Mengshan City. The light rail system here is the most complex and the strongest. because they usually have to transport a large amount of supplies to other places. After reading the entire map structure of Mengshan City, Ying Ziyue couldn't help but sigh. This smart city is really much more convenient. Not only has the utilization rate of land resources been greatly improved, the use of the light rail system can also greatly improve production efficiency. Thinking of this, Ying Ziyue then said, prepare to put the Mengshan smart city into use. Those who are awake can go home now, wait for some time to see the specific effect, and then consider whether to promote it on a large scale. Straight. Chapter 674. The smart city has been built, and it must be open to residents to settle in soon. Today's Mengshan City will become a technological city at the forefront of the world. I don't know when our city will be able to enjoy such treatment. The residents of Mengshan City will return soon. The official has announced that the smart city will be put into use soon. The original residents of Mengshan City received an official announcement at this time that they could return to their homes. But when they returned to their homes, they saw a completely unfamiliar city. Under the guidance of the official staff, every family found their own house. A week has passed in an instant, and the use of smart cities is also proceeding in an orderly manner at this time. Ying Ziyue was the city control center in Mengshan, and received a questionnaire from the Great Wise Man about residents' satisfaction. Facts have proved that 90% of residents are very satisfied with smart cities, while the remaining 10% are dissatisfied because the official compensation for them is not enough. For those who are insatiable, win the midnight, and do not want to argue with them too much. He is already satisfied with the satisfaction of more than half of the residents. This also shows that there is nothing wrong with the plan for the construction of smart cities, since the smart city construction project does not have any major shortcomings. The next step is to carry out smart city construction plans for other cities. Then Ying Ziyue officially released a plan to promote the construction of smart cities, which for a time is like a boulder thrown into a peaceful lake. The internet, which had been silent, began to boil again. Most people hope that the next city to be intelligently transformed is their own city. If I want to say that the first to accept the transformation, it is our magic capital. We are the economic center. What are you guys like? Isn't it a commercial center? Our side is a political center. I won't say anything. Basically every time a national policy is promulgated, our cities are basically the first batch to be affected by the policy. All of a sudden, cities began to line up wildly in order to highlight how good their cities are, so that officials can remember them, and then enter the first batch of smart city transformation plans. In fact, Ying Ziyue already has a certain number of plans for the first batch of smart city transformation plans. First of all, the target cities of the first batch of Chenhua's urban transformation plan are definitely not important cities such as the capital of Yanjing, but some first tier cities. The first is because Yanjing Demon Capital is an important city. Once there is a fork in the plan of intelligent city transformation, it may have a certain amount of impact on the Eastern Power the second time is because these first tier cities have the basic foundation for intelligent city construction. That is, they have a technological level that is ahead of the national level. These first tier cities are generally more advanced in science and technology. Even if they are transformed into smart cities, residents will not be repellent to them. After a week of discussions, the target cities of the first batch of smart city construction plans have been listed, with a total of 10. There were good reasons for this real name to be selected, and then Ying Ziyue published the list on the official website. Chapter 675. I'm going. The national center cities like the magic capital Yanjing were not selected, but some first tier cities were selected. The people of Magic City are very sad, but I believe that the country must have its own reason for doing so. Sooner or later we will become a smart city. In this list, there are a total of 10 first tier cities. I'm afraid these first tier cities were selected as experimental cities. That's right, these 10 first tier cities are just the experimental cities selected by Ying Ziyue. Nowadays, only Mengshan City has implemented the smart city construction plan in the smart city construction plan. Now that Mengshan City has only been in trial operation for a week, it is inevitable that there will be no specific hidden dangers afterwards. So Ying Ziyue singled out these 10 first-tier cities as experimental cities for specific observations. But when the smart city was really launched, Ying Ziyue received news about Atlantis. This is when Ying Ziyue suddenly remembered the smart city construction plan she designed. This construction plan can only be applied to land cities. Ocean cities and land cities are two completely different cities. When land cities carry out comprehensive intelligent construction, ocean cities are naturally indispensable. Point thinking of winning here, I can't help but feel a headache. It seems that I still need to design a smart city construction plan suitable for ocean cities separately. 1 year has passed since the launch of the smart city plan in a blink of an eye, and something that when Midnight never expected occurred. Point after he posted the drawings of the smart city construction plan to the official website for publication, the hermit geniuses of the East actually carried out the improvement plan of the smart city. Based on this drawing. Point in a blink of an eye, all kinds of intelligent cities have sprung up like bamboo shoots after a rain. Point even when Midnight felt that the East was really a magical country, it provided a seed, and then under the water of many people in the East, it grew into a big tree. Point after a year's time, this big tree finally bears rich fruits. Now every intelligent common sense has its own characteristics. For example, the well-known Magic City has now been transformed into a smart city, but its smart city focuses on commerciality. Zero find flowers in Magic City. You can sit at home and stay at home. You only need to connect to the internet to get all kinds of things, even as long as you buy a certain shoe online. Wait a while and then open your door. You will find that you have arrived at the physical store of this shoe. Point you can try it on, and if you are not satisfied, you can return it at any time. Because of the promotion of smart cities, the number of products in Magic City has doubled. It can be said that you can buy any product in the world here. Point and Yanjing, as the central city of today's major eastern country, after careful consideration, Yanjing has also transformed into a smart city. Point today's Yanjing can be said to be the safest place in the world, and the defense system here is definitely the world's first. Atlantis. These ocean cities have also undergone substantial transformation, but their focus on transformation is more inclined to travel and sightseeing. Point at this time, the whole country has entered the era of intelligence, and the number of intelligent cities has reached 80% of the total number of cities in the country. Death. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.